Fantasy football season is nearly upon us. Our long national nightmare nearly over. I am USA Today's Christian DeAndrea. He is a Rhode Island scumbag, Mike Yaj Boyajian. And today we're going to talk about the sleepers who could win you your league. Now, Yaj and I, we play together in the Rhode Island Scumbag League. So what we're really going to do here is just destroy each other's drafts by figuring out who we're each going to be targeting later on. Yash, how you feeling? Do you want to lead us off here? Who is the guy with an average draft position of 121 or higher that you're willing to take a swing on a little bit earlier?
Oh, man, asking me to give my secrets away for our fan, but you know what? It's for the good of the public, so I have no problem discussing our draft, regardless of how it's going to end up. We are on the opposite sides this year, so I'm not too worried about you sniping too many of my picks. But I digress. I'm going to start this exercise off with a receiver who came in. I know the criteria was 120 and lower. Right now, he's being drafted at 121. Little Bill Belichickian type pick for me, you know. Okay. But I'm going to go with Stefon Diggs. Currently going off the 121 overall. He just signed with the Commanders. I mean, last year, he finished wide receiver 24 overall in half PPR leagues, despite coming off knee surgery and being eased into action. So, again, he did not play a full complement of snaps throughout the season. Going from Drake May to Jaden Daniels shouldn't be a huge drop-off, I would not think. They're both very good, young, talented quarterbacks. And it sounds like he's already acclimating nicely with and developing a rapport with Daniels already. So Washington has struggled to provide Daniels with a true reliable number two. Debo was kind of like a de facto number one last year because at the time McLaurin wasn't really ready to get going. So you have a healthy McLaurin and who should kind of open things up a little bit for Diggs. And he sounds like he's going to serve that kind of safety valve role like he did with New England, especially Zach Ertz moving on. So I like his potential to repeat as a top, 24, 25 receiver. And right now he's going around wide receiver 48. So math isn't really mathing for me there. I'm sure now that he has signed, we're going to see his name rise a little bit in the ranks. So this might not qualify if we had done this exercise, say, a week or two from now. But as of now, Diggs is my first dart throw, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, I can't imagine most leagues he's going to go anywhere lower than round 8 or 9, or I guess higher, I suppose, because just he's got the name recognition, and he started off slow last season, still came along pretty fast. No injury to work through this time, but a little bit of ring rust. And honestly, who knows what his off the field stuff is going to turn out and be turned into. You're at the point right now where you believe pretty much anything people told you about Stefon Diggs, but like the value there. Can't imagine Jaden Daniels is going to have a great season after giving off the biggest possible loser I peaked in high school energy this offseason. But I appreciate the pick there. I'm going to go with a different wideout. ADP right now, 141. First round pick. And Yash, I hate that I'm recommending that anyone draft a Cleveland Brown, but KC Concepcion is my guy. This is a guy built to make young, crappy quarterbacks look better, right? He can take a 5-yard target and turn it into a 15-yard gain regularly. He's going to create a lot of space, and he's going to work in that short range where if the Browns' offensive line continues to struggle, even though it's been rebuilt and kind of confusingly with Titus Howard, he's going to be open early. If you need to get out the ball, if you need to get a 4-yard slant real quick with a guy who can take that upfield and turn it into a first down, that's going to be your guy. Jerry Jeudy turned into a pumpkin last year. Denzel Boston, I love his game, but it's a very different game. He's more of a downfield guy who honestly might not get that many targets because the quarterbacks are so bad in Cleveland, whereas Concepcion can have that Harold Fan in 2025 impact in 2026.
Beautiful.
All right, Yash, who's your next guy, your draft gem that you're digging from the coal mines of round 10 and later?
All right. My next will be another receiver. Near and dear to my heart, my boy, Romeo Doubs. New England Patriots, baby. Right. ADP is 138 right now. Another wide receiver on a new team. Left the Packers with the hopes of securing a bag and a bigger role. He got both which is going to be nice to see. He's always been reliable. He's always been steady. He just didn't really seem to get a lot of run with Green Bay. But then again, nobody really seemed to get a lot of run with Green Bay. He had those spike weeks like everybody else. And more importantly, when he didn't have a spike week, he still kind of seemed to check in. And he wouldn't ruin your week, but at the same time, he was a type of flex who could, put up a 10-point week in a bad week. So now we're heading to a situation where he's pretty much the solidified number 2 option on a explosive Patriots offense with a still rising quarterback in Drake May. So you improved your quarterback situation. You improved your personal situation as in your role as a wide receiver. Why are you going so late? I really don't. I feel like the industry really just hasn't caught up with it. I guess because he's been such a vanilla type receiver in the past. Nothing great, but nothing terrible either. I just don't understand if May's going to have an amazing year this year. Why wouldn't Doubs?
Yeah.
Everyone's expecting Brown to have a great year. Everyone loves the situation for the tight ends. Everyone loves the situation for, Pop Douglas's role. Why not take the number 2 for the Patriots in double-digit rounds? I'm happy to take a chance on him, quite honestly.
Yeah, great value on Doubs there. This is a guy who, especially when Tucker Kraft was out, seemed to be the first guy Jordan Love turned to when he needed those tough yards. He can fight through traffic to get to the ball. Solid hands and a good guy when it comes to creating space. So I love the pick up there, Yaj. And this guy going right now, round 13. He's going to give you way better than round 13 performs, assuming he stays healthy. Hasn't been a huge problem in the past. No. I'm going to go back to the well. Now, when we were talking about guys we were drafting over ADP, I brought up Parker Washington. In deference to Rhode Island high school football legend Liam Cohen at LaSalle. But I'm going with another Jacksonville Jaguar, and that's Brenton Strange, the tight end who had a mini breakout last season and is really trending upward. Okay. Here's a guy who had 0.52 expected points added per target. Second last year behind only George Kittle among tight ends who had at least 50 targets. So super efficient player. That was only in his 3rd season in the league, and we know tight ends sometimes take some time before they make that jump. I think this is a jump that's coming for him. He only had 13 targets that were more than 10 yards downfield, but he caught 9 of them. He is a guy who can be your soft inside target and rumble upfield, but he can also burn you up the seams, create some space, and be an unexpected dynamic downfield receiver for Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. Granted, an offense full of them, but I think he can absolutely do it and get it done. Yaj, your 3rd sleeper for 2026 NFL fantasy drafts.
All right, I'm going to switch it up and grab a running back here. ADP of right now 150. Jonah Coleman of the Denver Broncos. Yes, it's a rookie running back. Yes, I do have a problem in that respect. I don't know. I'm always chasing that upside. I like to kind of get things a year early before everyone else seems to catch up. I'm going to be honest here. Optics don't look great. He still has J.K. Dobbins, who pinky promised he would not get hurt this year. He pinky promised it's going to happen. He already did sit out some time in preseason, but we're not going to worry about that. All right. And on top of it, we have R.J. Harvey, a guy who I flag planted last year, who really didn't work out for me too much. So at this point, I like Coleman. He's a rookie. I get it. Sean Payton has been singing his praises throughout training camp. Yeah. Obviously, he listed him as 6th on the depth chart while doing that because Sean Payton loves messing with rookies. But Coleman could end up playing a significant role in Payton's offense sooner than anticipated. All right. Again, camp report's super positive. He's already been talking about being the goal line short yardage back for this team already anyway. So at 5'8", 220, he's an absolute force. If one of Dobbins or Harvey goes down with an injury, I think he's got league-winning potential. The only caveat I have with this, Taysom Hill has been mentioned in a reunion with Sean Payton. If this happens, I want nothing to do with Coleman because that just turns into a 4-man backfield, and Taysom Hill's bread and butter was, of course, goal line short yardage stuff. Yeah. But as the backfield is currently situated, I love taking a late round dart throw at Coleman. I want to say, who was it? Jalen Waddle the other day. Jonah Coleman, just picture of him. What's Waddle put underneath that? Maurice Jones-Drew.
Oh,
stop.
I mean, you can see it, dude. Man's built like a little pinball, 5'8", 225. I got to talk with Denzel Boston doing some pre-draft stuff, and he sung Jonah Coleman's praises. Yash, the problem for me would be like, man, there's some real Audric Estime potential here where the fit makes a ton of sense and the running back room's unsettled and someone's going to have to go up there and feast. And you got this big, powerful back and he just does nothing. So like you said, rookie running backs, but yeah, man, I mean, 14th round, snag him before you pick up a kicker. That makes a ton of sense.
He's free. Why not?
I'm going to fire back with a guy somehow going 18 picks after Jonah Coleman, and it might be the running back premium there, but Jalen Nailor, Las Vegas Raiders. The opportunity is going to be there. It's going to be there so much because look who's around him. I mean, yes, you got Brock Bowers, you got Michael Mayer, you got one of the best tight end platoons in the game, but look at the receiving core, Yash. It's garbage. It's Jack Beck. It's Trey Tucker, who honestly, Trey Tucker is a pretty good downfield threat. It's Dante Thorne. It's a bunch of guys that you do not trust. And here's this very efficient receiver who thrived, and maybe it was because he had two great wide receivers over him stealing focus for him, or maybe it was in spite of that because he still got a lot of one-on-one opportunities. He got open. He just didn't see the volume that you would have expected from a guy that was putting up his kind of efficiency numbers. We're going to see that rubber meet the road in Las Vegas. We know that he's got a couple. I want to give Fernando Mendoza the reliable benefit of the doubt. I don't know if he's there yet. Same thing with late stage Kirk Cousins, but both those guys are going to know where their bread is buttered. It's going to be Brock Bowers first and foremost, and then Jalen Nailor. So I think he's going to get a ton of opportunities right now going off 168th. You are getting a guy who can give you 5th round potential, maybe 8 rounds later. I love that.
Yeah, I like it too.
Hit me with your 4th 2026 NFL draft sleeper.
All right, so next up for me is going to be wide receiver Dejon Stribling of San Francisco, currently ADP 163. Another guy who I have a sneaking suspicion is going to elevate a little bit in drafts, especially after his performance with the last preseason game. Again, I was pumped to see you leave me someone of Stribling's ilk to discuss in this section. He was making contested catches all over the field. And he genuinely looked like an immediate difference maker in year 1. Purdy's pass catchers have gone through an overhaul this season. Jennings is gone. Pearsall's already done. Brandon Ayuk has done pretty much everything he could short of freezing his feet in a cryogenic chamber. What else we got going on? So this is all we got left. Aging Mike Evans, aging George Kittle, aging Deebo Samuel, and a banged-up Christian Kirk as Stribling's main competition for targets. So, there's always Christian McCaffrey, but he had over 400 touches last year, and we already got soft tissue issues. And at this point, I am not willing to believe that anybody on the 49ers is going to stay healthy for an entire season. So for somebody who's going in, at the time that we're talking now, around 13 or so in 12-team leagues, I will gladly take somebody who could end up being one of the top pass catchers in San Francisco.
I got some questions there, but one, first off, did you know that Stribling is the nephew of The Rock? Not that one, though. The other pro wrestling rock, Don Morocco.
No.
But two, this is a guy who, he showed off a lot more polish than I think anyone expected in the preseason. He was a little bit raw. It was surprising to see the Niners take him so early in the second round after trading back. But here's a guy with absolute burner speed, and that's what the Niners lack right now. They don't have anyone who can really stretch the field. I think Stribling, for the most part, is going to be more of a decoy. And part of that's I still don't know if I fully believe in Brock Purdy as a high volume downfield thrower. I don't know if he's got that in him. to do it consistently. But at the same time, like you mentioned, man, the electrical substation is feasting right now, and the Niners are built for collapse. So they're going to need someone to step up. Hopefully it can be your guy, Dijon. All right, my number 4 reach that's going to pay off for me totally. I guarantee it. ADP of 240. Miami Dolphins wideout Chris Bell, like a lot like Stribling. A guy who is going to have a ton of opportunity because there's no one else on the roster who's really going to challenge him for it. The Dolphins receiving room, Tutu Atwell, Jalen Tolbert, Malik Washington, Caleb Douglas. Now, Caleb Douglas, a guy I like him a little bit more than Chris Bell, but he's going a little bit higher in drafts. I want to dig deeper. I want to get the guy from Louisville who is built like a truck. He's like 6'2", 230. He's got good breakaway speed, creates a lot of space, gets out and makes contested catches. The problem is that, there's a little bit of Treylon Burks to his game when there's still also a little bit of A.J. Brown, and we know those two different dynamics can turn out to be. Yeah. It's very possible he comes out and falls flat on his face, especially since he's still dealing with an ACL tear. We're going to be without him for probably the first few weeks of the season, but the upside is there. The ceiling is a lot higher for a guy that is being drafted in the mid-200s than you might expect. Yaj, hit me up with your last sleeper. Make it a go. Make it a deep guy. Give me a deep cut.
Oh, I got deep. I got deep for you right now. We're going to pick 243, running back Damon Claiborne of the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay.
All right. I knew you wanted a deep dive. You're going to get one. So Claiborne's a name to keep an eye on in 2026 as the season wears on. He's a 6th-round pick out of Wake Forest. Absolutely fly. He's a 4.37 40 in the combine. Looks the part if the Vikings want to move into more of a thunder and lightning style wide receiver room with Jordan Mason more as like the hammer role. Aaron Jones, they did bring him back. But again, he's aging. It's a 1-year deal. I don't really see that as much of an, not much of a endorsement for the future.
Yeah.
I think Claiborne's the guy you want to kind of really keep an eye on especially after the first couple weeks. Just kind of, see how they're using him. He could end up helping fantasy managers, and he's free. You can pick him instead of picking a defense last round or whatever, throw Claiborne on your roster, at least for a couple weeks, see what happens. Again, we're not really confident on Aaron Jones, and, most teams employ more than one running back. So coaching staff seems to like him. He's, been kind of making some noise there. Again, Aaron Jones is very well liked, and he's the old elder statesman. So people aren't going to be disrespectful and just, say Claiborne's taking his job. But then again, you never know what could happen. So if I'm throwing a very, very late round dart on a running back, that could potentially help me out more so moving on with the season. Give me Claiborne here.
Yeah, he seems more like a guy you'd pick up after the draft. Like you drop one of your guys on injured reserve, you got the extra roster slot. You pick him up, you see what happens. Mm-hmm. Aaron Jones, great vibes guy. You keep him around because he's a locker room leader as well, who still has utility on the field. But I agree with you. I think his role is going to be greatly diminished. We're going to be able to see what Claiborne can do. All right, let's. I'm going to go even deeper with mine. You brought up Stribling. I'm going to go with the poor man's Dijon Stribling. That is Bryce Lance of the New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
Another burner, a long flyer, a guy who can make those go routes sing, but a guy who's not even on the ADP board right now, been really quiet in the preseason. He's going to a Saints team that has some targets. Obviously, Olave is back. They drafted Jordan Tyson in the first round, while Tyson's already hurt. And Lance is a guy who has incredible speed, scored a ton of touchdowns at North Dakota State, averaged more than 17 yards per catch. We know he can get downfield. We know he could create space against FCS defenses and make contested catches. Will that translate? Great question. I have no idea, but this is a Saints team that knows what it had in Rashid Shaheed and went out and drafted his replacement in the 4th round. Again, like Stribling, he might be more of a decoy with those deep routes to stretch the field, keep safeties backpedaling rather than crashing towards the line of scrimmage. But he's going to get a few targets, and he's going to have the opportunity to put up some absurd, 2-catch, 80-yard, 1-touchdown stat lines. Yeah. Not going to be the most consistent performer, but could be a guy who really helps you out along the way.
Cool.